Hi everyone, welcome to Essential Excel Skills on a Time Budget, Creating a Pivot Table. My name is Jaleesa Doney and I'm the Social Sciences Librarian at the University of Idaho Library. Within Excel, pivot tables allow you to summarize and analyze your data, as well as help you see patterns and trends across your data. Let's say we want to use all of the data in Sheet 1 to build or create a pivot table. To do this, highlight all of the data in the sheet, navigate to the Insert tab in the Table section, and click the Pivot Table icon. Make sure that Select a Table or Range is chosen, and within the Table/Range box, make sure that that information is correct. Then make sure that New Worksheet is selected and click OK. After inserting a blank pivot table, we can now build a pivot table based on the data. Our columns and rows and the data within them are now represented as fields that we can add to our pivot table. In pivot tables, we can place fields into 4 different areas. Filters are the fields that we can use to isolate or focus our data. Columns are the headings that display the unique values from specific fields. Rows are the fields that we can use to group and categorize our data. And values are the fields that we want to measure. Let's focus first on adding fields to the rows and values areas. To do this, navigate to the Pivot Table Fields box. Now, if this box ever disappears when you're building a pivot table, click the Pivot Table area, navigate to the Analyze tab and the Show section, and click Field List. Let's click on one of our fields, such as college in this example, and drag and drop it into the rows area. Then let's click on another field, such as APC, Article Processing Charge Received, and drag and drop it into the values area. Now we have a basic pivot table that shows the total funding received, our values area selection, and groups our data by college, our row area selection. So we can see that agricultural and life sciences has received a total of $10,002.80 of funding from the Open Access Publishing Fund. Depending on your data, you may also choose to add a filter, which would allow us to focus our data even more. To do this, click on one of the fields, such as fiscal year in this example, and drag and drop it into the filters area. With this filter, we can see data across all 3 of the fiscal years included. Or if we click the drop-down arrow next to all, we can select a single or multiple years. Once we select a filter, our pivot table updates automatically. We can also create a more detailed pivot table by adding additional fields. For example, we can click, drag, and drop another field, such as department, into the rows area. If we want this new row field, department, to be nested within the previous row field, college, we need to make sure that it appears second within the rows list. To do this, click on department and drag and drop it so it appears after college. If you have a number of fields within any of these areas and you need to move them, it might be easier to choose the arrow next to the field name and select move up, move down, etc. Right now, our values field is calculated based on the sum of funding received by a specific college and department. But we might also want to see the average funding across college and department. To do this, we need to add a second APC received field to the values area. Let's click APC received and drag and drop it so it appears after the first APC received field. Then, to change this from sum to average, click the arrow next to sum of APC received to and select value field settings. Within the summarize value field by box, click average, then select OK. we can now see the average article processing charge received as well as the total article processing charge received by each college and department. Now that we have a pivot table we're happy with, we can clean it up a bit. First, we can rename any of the fields within our pivot table by clicking on the cell and typing new text, such as changing sum to total, average to average, and row labels to college and department. If we look at the data that was included in the rows, we can now see the names of the colleges as well as the names of the departments. If, for visualization purposes, we just want to see colleges, we can click the minus sign to minimize those areas. From the Analyze tab, we can also easily change the format for our values. For example, we can change the APC received fields, which are now total and average, so that they appear as currency and only show 2 decimal places. To do this, click the header of the column you want to change, such as total. Navigate to the Analyze tab and the Active Field section and click Field Settings. Then, under Number Format, click Currency and select 2 decimal places, then click OK and click OK again. We can follow those same steps to change average. Click the header for the column, navigate to Analyze, Active Field, click Field Settings, select Number Format, and choose Currency 2 decimal places, and click OK. And then click OK again. Now we have a more detailed pivot table that reflects the data originally found in Sheet 1. Thank you for watching Creating a Pivot Table. Be sure to check out our other Essential Excel Skills videos.